Please note, when planning your head block practice schedule, consider lengths and techniques in order to make full use of your head block, which will impact on your finances. Stacey will be demonstrating a one-length trim. Although simple in nature, it is extremely technical in its execution and tests all the required basics for good hairdressing, such as body position, finger angles, dexterity, sectioning accuracy, method and tension.
By shampooing the hair and conditioning the hair, it helps in smoothing the cuticle and enables you to get rid of tangles much easier. Because this is real hair, you need to treat it as real hair. So our first part of the process is I'm going to put a side parting in. We use the large teeth of the comb to section the hair and also to put the parting in. The idea behind this tooth missing here is that it enables you to get very, very clean, precise sections. As you can see, it parts the hair much easier. So there are two ways of putting and parting in the hair. One of them is you push the hair backwards. Obviously, make sure you use the large teeth of the comb. First of all, the parting needs to sit above the eye. To get an idea of where the eye is, pull the hair back. So comb the hair back, we hold it in our fingers, and then we push forwards. And then we can choose where, if the eye's here, where we want our parting. So if I want my parting here, that's where I divide the hair. And that's a simple form of placing the parting. Another version to put the parting in the hair is I comb the hair backwards, place my hand at the back of the head, one at the front, and I lift the hair forwards. And this will give me a break in the hair. This will show you where the natural break is in the hair. Obviously, on a wig block, we have to mime it. So this is my sectioning pattern for the one length trim. Now, the idea behind this is by segregating the hair off with the horseshoe section and dividing the pieces out the sides, is that you can focus on the shape. Now you will notice that what we've done is we've placed a piece of white material around the base of the block. This will aid in you visually seeing your line when you cut the shape in. So the sectioning here is slightly bigger on the first section. Now the reason why I've done this is it helps you to see your line in the base, because how a wig is woven, it goes very narrow in the center and it's very hard to see a small line. So this helps us see a larger line, so keeping it more level. Now, when I take the next sections, they will actually be slightly finer. This way, it gives us more consistency and more fluidity with the shape. The other benefit of taking a small section on the internal shape is that we can actually see our guideline beneath it, which is vitally important for you to follow your shape all the way through. What I will do through the entire shape is that I will keep the hair equally damp throughout the shape. So I'll constantly be spraying the hair down to keep the hair even moisture. That way I keep equal tension on the hair throughout the shape. Also, this aids you in cutting the hair as well. When you first begin, it is very difficult to hold hair in your fingers, hold hair in your comb. But by keeping the hair wet, you can actually keep your tension much more even. So I'm going to be working with the small teeth of my comb to keep the hair under equal tension. I divide the hair using my scissors. Pull the hair down, keep equal tension. Use my scissors pressed against the hair in the comb to give me a little bit extra tension. Then I stop keep the hair as flat as possible. Once you've completed a small piece of hair, I now use the large teeth of the comb and use my fingers. But again, keep the hair flat. Just be very delicate and very steady with your scissors. Don't need to make any large movements. Just take your time. You can see now how I push the hair into the comb to increase tension. So I'm using my comb as a guide. Okay, now large teeth of the comb to check the shape. By doing the haircut in this way, through the comb and through the fingers, it aids you in two techniques. Now at the moment, because we've only got a small amount of hair, it's more difficult to check the balance. So I'll check the balance once I get to the top of the ears, and if there's any difference, then I will come back down to this point and just balance the shape. By working to the top of the ears gives you enough hair to check your balance. So you can see I've taken a small section. Now already you can see the line on the bottom. Now I need to put a little bit more moisture on this side because the hair is dried out. Okay, so again now this shape is much easier. So I'm going to follow from the center now rather than splitting in two. Because we have less volume or less density of hair on these corners, it's more difficult to control than the central area, which has a greater density of hair.
Stacey now continues to the top of the section over the round of the head.
So what I'm doing when I cut the hair is I'm cutting the hair where the guide is, not leaving the hair longer or shorter. I'm cutting it precisely where the guide is. This will maintain a strength in the outside shape. Okay, so checking the balance, just stretch the hair down in your fingers. It's difficult to see the line when it's wet on a wig block, especially because there's a little bit of texture there, but you can try and visualize your shape just by stretching the hair down and try and visualize your line. Now this is the basic sequence for the rest of the shape. So now your sections don't pivot around this point. Your sections will move all the way to the front. Once we've completed all the underneath, again we check our balance from the front as well. When you're doing any one length shape, it's good to try and get your eyes level with the outside. You know, try as much as you can to try and get your eyes level with the shape, because it aids you in cutting it. If you were doing this on a client, you would actually get the client to stand up to cut this line so that your eyes are level with the outside shape. That makes the whole process much easier. As you can see, what I did in the back area, I used the large teeth of the comb because the density of the hair was greater than at the front. And so I didn't need to get as much control over that hair because it was sufficient because of the density. But in the front area, the density is less, so it's harder to get the tension and the control. So I use the small teeth of the comb. So incidentally, because the wig block doesn't have shoulders, and a human being would, this hair would naturally sit behind the shoulders. You don't sit it in front of the shoulders to cut the hair, you sit behind the shoulders. So the shape will be slightly different on a real person. So remember, sit the front hair behind the shoulders. When we check the shape off, then we check in front of the shoulders to clean off the graduation. But we cut the hair back here, not here. So this is my last section, and once I've completed this section throughout the shape, then I will check the balance. The balance needs to be equal all the way around, because this is going to be working as if we've done a side parting. So in actual fact, the hair will sit down this way, so this side will, in essence, in the final stages actually be longer, because the hair at the front travels further forwards. If the hair was in a centre parting, because you've got this balance correct, the hair will drop down correct and sit equal. So it's important at this stage to make sure all this is correct before you do the top. So use the large teeth of the comb, because the hair is much thicker now. Still put tension on using your scissors. And again, check in your fingers. So to check the shape, I'm going to just pull the hair down, just on both sides, because you've got equal sections through here. But you must pull the hair down equal, not backwards or forwards. It's got to come down this way. Pull down, get your eyes level to see the balance. But we need to do the inside before we can check the actual perimeter of the shape, because we're going to be cutting the hair with equal tension and equal dampness.
Revise Stacey's procedure and try on your own block, staying mindful of the points to watch. Points to watch on the underneath section. 1. Be careful to create clean, even sections. 2. The first section must encompass the appropriate amount of hair, as this will be your guideline for the entire shape. This section may be a little thicker. 3. Ensure even dampness throughout. Even dampness equals even tension.
Equally damp throughout the shape, so I'll constantly be spraying the hair down to keep the hair even moisture. That way I keep equal tension on the hair throughout the shape.
4. Be mindful of your guideline and follow accurately. 5. Ensure that your eye line is level with your cutting edge.
Now the reason behind why I've used curved sections on the top is that by taking a curved section, it embraces the whole of the shape from the front to the back. Dropping this hair down this way gives me a true line from the front to the back. If I work with horizontal sections, the hairline is at different points on the head through here, so the shape here will be different. It's very difficult to judge the outline shape. So the curved sections alleviate this problem by giving you the whole perimeter. It's the same as if we were doing a one-length bob from a side parting. The curved sections apply the same, dropping down to the outside. The front hairline, what is I push the head back and I just push the hair back. And I use my finger here to try and give me a little bit of a guide to the front shape. Then comb the hair down. You'll have to keep this quite a loose shape until you've dried the hair. So it's very difficult to keep checking this, because now if I pull this down at the front, you'll see the shape extends down. And it needs to do this, but we check this once it's dry to give a stronger shape. Now I've completed the outside shape, and I've left one small section out at the top. This is for after when I blow dry the hair, and it allows for any defects in the crown. I know a block hasn't got a crown, but by doing this and practicing this, it enables it when you come to do a real person, is that you will automatically leave out those pieces. So we blow dry the hair now, and then I'll drop this hair in and join this into the rest of the shape.
Points to watch, top section. 1. Ensure that you work with curved sections. 2. Remember, even dampness equals even tension. 3. The front hair is drawn across the head and down, reflective of the parting. 4. Leave out the crown area, which is cut at a later stage, allowing for movement in the hair.
This is for after when I blow dry the hair, and it allows for any defects in the crown.
Next, Stacey blow dries his block, ensuring a smooth and even finish with the dryer pointing down the cuticle.
So you can see this is my last section after blow drying, pulling the hair down. And you can see if the hair had irregular growth, it's given us an opportunity to clean this hair up into the shape. So now, rather than combing the hair directly from the root area, I will comb the hair from the mid-lengths, pull down, and just very lightly holding my fingers and work into the shape. So with less tension, it still lets the hair move around. So from the mid-lengths to the ends. And that's the checking in of the final section on top. So to check the front area, the easiest way to do this in the beginning is to comb the hair backwards, hold the hair at the corner, use a sectioning clip to hold the hair in place, comb the hair down, and what I'm looking for is whether it sits in a clean line. That will tell me if that's correct. And then to check the shape is to take diagonal sections like what we did before and just over direct the hair down, back, and you can see there's just one or two little hairs. So the angle needs to come down simply to compensate for the distance the hair's got to travel across the head to reach the side. The shape in the back, we have to be careful here because the hair is moving across the head, not just straight back. So the only thing on these blocks is because the hair's woven slightly backwards, we have to keep pushing the hair slightly across so as to get the true shape. And then halfway in with the comb. And that's how we check the top lengths in. So you can see when the hair's sitting like this side appears a lot longer. If we section the hair off equal on both sides, pull the hair back, it will sit the same length. So that's what you have to do. That's why with the sectioning, you can see how beneficial it is by sectioning equally around the head to get the balance. Then this hair will naturally be out of balance, so making it actually in balance. So you need to remember when you do this on a person, it'll be slightly different and it needs to sit behind the shoulders. This is my one length trim on a block.